a macabre verse of madness.
Hello there, it is I, Old Man Macabre here, once again participating in the 31 days of Halloween Spooktacular that is going on this month. I hope that you had a chance to check out every one of the people that I shouted out last time. They're still producing amazing content that you and everyone else should definitely watch. So, faithful viewer, if you are still watching this channel, I hope you are enjoying the content that is being pumped out here as well. Yes, I must admit, as an old man macabre, it gets very difficult to be, well, old. You see, you constantly have the looming shadow of death beside your shoulder, half expecting it to finally claim you, but it never happens. I don't know why, but I am happy to still be alive for so many great years and have the opportunity to giving it the constant attention of the producing content that I have the opportunity to produce content, you see. Yes, and also to give special loving to those goth girls that I so enjoy, you see. Oh, yes, making the beast of 2 backs, sometimes 3, with the goth girls also helps give me my longevity, you see. So I am very grateful that Old Man Macabre is still around to enjoy that kind of stuff. But also, I wanted to talk about movies of the olden days. Oh, yes, back when movies were, well, they were crafted differently. They were made differently. They were built different. Quite literally, now everything's CGI bullshit. Put people in front of a green screen and digitize everything that goes around them. Whereas back in the olden days, you see, you had to build sets and hire extras. No CGI bullshit back then. But, you know, going back to the earliest examples of movies really is a very unique experience. I highly recommend that you go back and watch the older films, you see. I know some people might not tolerate the black and white aesthetic, and a few younger people might feel that they're boring, that nothing happens, they're too slow paced. Well, you gotta understand, these were some instances literally the first movies of their generation. They were still figuring stuff out, camera angles, audio, musical scores, actors that were trained in theater and were pumping out movies in the silent era. All of a sudden had to act with voices, and in some cases you had good-looking actors and actresses, and they looked good in front of the camera and they can mime and shit, but once they talked, oh boy, their voices were god-awful. So I had to hire other people. It was a whole thing. So going back to the older movies and appreciating the effort and the road that they paved so you can have your new movies nowadays, well, it's just something that you have to appreciate. And for this occasion, I wanted to showcase one of my favorite, not silent movie old, but older movies nonetheless. Some of the first examples of horror movies from back in the day were provided by Universal with their Universal Monster series. You see, I chose one of my favorite ones. I love all of the Universal Monsters. They are iconic and classic and inspired to this day. A whole bunch of stuff. I don't like any one of them more than the other, but I have a thing for vampires. And of course you can see that because of my love for goth chicks that have the vampire aesthetic Oh, nothing sexier than a vampire female sucking blood. Yes, blood. So, I wanted to showcase the one that has the first universal vampire, Dracula, with Bela Lugosi. Yes, indeed. Bela Lugosi actually got to play Dracula first in the theater. You see, he would play Dracula, so when he found out they were going to make a movie, he was like, holy shit, I gotta get into that. That would be great for my career. And for a while it was. So he was like, I'll even take a pay cut. Which unfortunately also came back to haunt him, because later on in his career, they would not pay him what he deserved. Hollywood was a piece of shit back in the day. Well, truth be told, it's still kind of a piece of shit. But, yes, poor Bela Lugosi, he was so excited and would go to any length to play Dracula on the movie that came back to bite him in the ass, unfortunately. Poor Bela. For a while, he was considered a sex icon. All the women wanted to give it to Bela, and who could resist his charming voice and his captivating eyes? Oh, yes, indeed. Bela Lugosi, indeed. But curious fact, while they were filming the Dracula movie with Bela Lugosi, at the same time, they were shooting the Spanish version of Dracula. Indeed. For you see, Universal wanted to appeal back then to a mass market, so they made an English-speaking Dracula, and then they made a Spanish version of Dracula. You see, with Spanish actors. And one of the advantages of doing it this way is that the Spanish crew would see what the Americans did, and they would be like, that was pretty good. How can we make that better? And they actually improved cinematically. I had a brain fart. It happens when you're old. They tried to improve in cinematography what was being done with the Americans. The only problem is, of course, they didn't have the captivating presence of Bela Lugosi. And the actor that plays Dracula, well, he's not Bela Lugosi. But in a technical sense, the Spanish version of Dracula is very good. Very good. Indeed. I have a soft spot for both of them, but I must admit, I prefer the Bela Lugosi version because of Bela Lugosi. He's so freaking amazing. And the guy that plays Renfield is also pretty good in both versions, but in my opinion, a little bit more memorable in the American version, you see. But yes, such a classic movie. They gave all the vampire tropes of having a fancy, smancy, elegant European vampire, you see, that came from Bela Lugosi because he was Hungarian. He actually learned the English language by phonetically reading the script and speaking the language. And for a while, he had a very good career in the horror genre. Unfortunately, he got typecast and then he had some personal issues. So poor Bela, unfortunately, in his later years, didn't have it so good. But he eventually did have a form of resurgence by working with Ed Wood. Some might say good, some might say bad, but it is what it is. And Bela Lugosi, well, went on to star in his movies, of the Ed Wood movies. So yes, this is one of the first DVD releases that are in the collection, you see, that has Dracula and the Spanish version. A good release for sure. But we also have this one. This one is really cool, you see, because it has all of the Dracula movies. It has Dracula, the Spanish version of Dracula, Dracula's daughter, and son of Dracula. You see. So yes, this is definitely one that you want to track down if possible. They did later on re-release this on Blu-ray with a different packaging. But this is the one that I wanted in the collection for a while because of the look of the box. If you bought the deluxe box set of this release of Universal, you would get statue busts of Dracula, Frankenstein, and the Wolfman. Unfortunately, I don't have those statue busts. I got this one much later on in the secondary market, you see. But, like I said, both Draculas, the American one and the Spanish one, are pretty good. But Daughter of Dracula is actually very good, too. The actress that they got to play really does have a very interesting aura about her. And it's a direct sequel to Dracula, just without Dracula, because Dracula got killed. Van Helsing is back in this, and he's trying to deal with Dracula's daughter, you see. But it's a very good, solid sequel. And also, well, if you must know, I do also enjoy vampire ladies because, well, they're very sexual, and they're very attractive, and vampire ladies swing both ways. They can get on with the guys and the girls, and, well, that leads for some very interesting experiences, let me tell you. So, yes, and even kind of touch upon that aspect in this one. And the Son of Dracula, well, that was not so good, unfortunately. Stars Lon Chaney Jr. as Dracula, or Alucard, which is a name that would later be used in Castlevania, you see. So, but yes, I really like this release. It's a lot of fun. And the other one I'm super happy to add to the collection a couple of years ago is the 75th Anniversary Legacy Edition. This looks like a little book, you see, and it has special features and the like. And I love this Legacy DVD release. They did one for Frankenstein and the Wolfman, which I have all three. I don't remember if they did anything for the Mummy, but I'm pretty sure they did, and that's the one that I'm missing. But this is a lot of fun, and I like the package that this thing is in. Oh, such a good movie. I've seen Bela Lugosi's Dracula so many times, and each time it keeps getting better and better. Now, if you are a collector of Dracula, be aware that for a time, because of certain Hollywood bullshit, you see, some of the versions of Dracula had changes, as well as Frankenstein. The one in Dracula is that when Dracula kills Renfield, there is no scream. Even that collection of Dracula movies, that particular set doesn't have the scream. But the scream was added later on in the first DVD release that I showed, and in that 75th anniversary. So there is very different quirks of your movies that you can collect. I know for sure the VHS also did have the scream. So Frankenstein also has a couple of edits here and there. So it is a very interesting experience to experience all the Dracula versions out there. So I recommend you watch, if you haven't, Dracula with Bela Lugosi, and for curiosity's sake, watch the Spanish one as well. And if you have the opportunity, watch Dracula's Daughter. That one is really, really good, and I really like the actors they got to play the Dracula's daughter, you see. Of course, she's no Ingrid Pitt in The Vampire Lovers. Oh, my goodness. Oh, baby, suck my blood and suck other parts all day long. I can take it. Good stuff. Well, I hope you enjoyed this entry in the 31 Days of Halloween Spooktacular. Yes, Old Man Macabre will be back to showcase another old movie somewhere down the line. We're at the home stretch, unfortunately, and October's almost done, but the big day, Halloween, is almost here, so stay tuned for more content. But until I see you again, you beautiful young whippersnappers, take care and bye-bye! Hate to call up one of my sexy vampire-looking goth chicks. I got horny talking about all that vampirism.